Standard operating procedure, showing you tips, tricks, tactics, and techniques to help you love a career in telecoms. I'm Russell Lundberg, your host. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. Today, we're going to be covering another in our series about how to get the most out of your reporting rather than creating a new report creating a completely new workbook every time you want to create a report. You can reuse the same data. And that's what we're going to do today. Let's see, I've got that turned off. I'm going to bring up my Raulito. I know it's late in Manila. Thanks for joining us. I'm going to bring up my workbook here, share my workbook so you can see what's going on. And that always happens. And there we go. There's the workbook. So this is a dashboard I've created before, not together with you guys, but it's the same techniques that I always teach with my reporting. And the automation skills that we've covered before, I'm going to review them for you now, just as a reminder. So here's the raw data. Here's the raw data. And we always start with synthetic fields. The raw data is just the white background here. That's the data you would manually type, copy and paste, import from like a CSV, or maybe there's a link to some kind of SQL. However you bring in the latest data, that's what this is. And then the synthetic field is this column day, where I'm looking out here at this date. It's actually in the live data, and I'm just cleaning it up is all I'm doing. Effectively, I'm stripping out the hours, minutes, seconds. That's all I did in the synthetic field. And then the second thing is date automation, and that's here on my config worksheet, where I'm just grabbing the latest 10 days from that raw data, because the 10 days is what my daily report is showing. Don't want to get ahead of myself. I then, with my raw data, I have a dynamic named range. It's called ALM data, and I can click there and you can see the colored lights around it, right? So it grabs all the data down to the very bottom there. That's the dynamic named range. And then with that dynamic named range, I create one or more pivot tables, and I'm clicked inside the pivot table. I'll show you my data source. There's my dynamic named range, ALM underscore data. And then the last is to insert this pivot data into my dashboard using the get pivot data function. And I'll show you that. There's the daily dashboard. If I click here, you can see right there's my get pivot data. I know that's really small, nothing I can do about it. There's my get pivot data function. So those 5 steps, we do that with almost every dashboard. Okay, so those automation steps. Create the synthetic field, build your date automation, set up your dynamic named range, create one or more pivot tables that'll drive the data in your dashboard, and then insert that data from the pivot table using the get pivot data function. And that's what you see on screen here. This is the daily dashboard. And what I wanted to show you today is I'm just going to build another dashboard, but it uses the exact same data. I don't have to start over. So I'm going to start by looking at my notes. I'm going to start by looking at my notes. Sorry, Raulita, I'm at 140% already. If you can't see that, I can go to 150. I know what you can't see is up here in the formula bar. The Excel doesn't make that any bigger. What I can do is this, and just as an example, and then remove the equal sign. So that's the formula that's actually embedded right here in cell E5. Here's what it looks like. You can see it a little bit bigger. 1 a.m. Goodness. Well, I appreciate and admire your dedication and your commitment, Raulito, because 1 a.m. on a Sunday night, I'd be in bed. Do you have to get up and go to work tomorrow? That's very late, 1 a.m. Okay, so we're going to create a new dashboard right here inside the workbook, right alongside this one. So I'm just going to copy this one. We'll start with that. Move or copy. There was something else I was supposed to do. Why is that not appearing? There you go. So I'll just put it next to here before, and I'm going to make a copy. Okay, and we're going to call this one monthly. We've already got the daily dashboard right here. So we're going to make now a monthly dashboard. And pretty easy to fix this. Good planning skills, Raulito. Take a nap. So there's the title I just changed here, and I'm going to change the title of my charts. All these, I always link externally because it makes it easy to make these kinds of changes. Same here. I don't have daily in that one. But I can fix that. A very snowy day today here in Denver. We've got about, I don't know, 25 or 30 centimeters of snow on the ground now, and it's snowing very hard right now. The forecast is for like 40 to 50 centimeters of snow. Lovely. Okay, so I've set up the monthly, but none of this data is right. In fact, I'm not going to change it though. Nothing I'm going to do right now. What I need to do next is, remember our 5 automation steps was synthetic fields, data automation, dynamic named range, pivot table, and then the get pivot data function. So the synthetic fields, let's start with that in my raw data. This is daily, so I need a monthly synthetic field. So let's just insert that. And I'm going to do a little less. Equals date, year, and always this. Oh, sorry, let me go to the top. I2. And since I want every day to be grouped by the pivot table, I'm just going to hard code the first day of the month. And now all these dates will show up as the first day of the month. And I just double click that little knot down in the corner, that knuckle down in the corner that triggers the fill handle, and it'll fill all the way down. I have 67,000 rows of data, roughly. So there's my month, and you can see everything is on the first day of each month. Yep. Okay, so there's my pivot table. Sorry, that's not my pivot table. That's the synthetic field. Got ahead of myself. And then here's my daily pivot table, 2 of them. So I need a monthly pivot table. This is just operation by day and the count. So let's create a new workbook, and that'll be pivot monthly operations. And it really doesn't matter to you for this training what the data is. It's the techniques that are important. Okay, so I've stripped out of the raw data. I've stripped all anything that's identifiable, so I'm not giving away any trade secrets or anything. All the proprietary data is gone, but it's just this, I'm just using it to illustrate these techniques. So here in my monthly operations, I need to insert a pivot table. And the range, remember, was ALM data. And did I, oops, that's not going to work yet. This is my month. Now my pivot table will function properly. And if I come back here, let's see, pivot, monthly operations. I'm going to refresh so that it'll show up. There's my month. So I'm going to drop that here in the rows. And then it was operation and count of operation, count of operation. I don't want to group by default. Excel is grouping this date field, this month field, excuse me. I'm going to turn that off. Can I do it from here? Ungroup. Yeah. So now I've got November 1, I've got December 1, I've got January 1. And I'm not going to bother to format those numbers because you can figure out. I'm just showing you the data for the whole month. So now I can come back to my, since I've got a pivot table, I can come back to my monthly dashboard. And this was operations. So this is daily operations. I might be able to get away with this and just, since everything else is the same, I'm just going to replace that with monthly. See if that works. Okay, didn't work. So I'm just going to do what I should have done in the first place. Highlight the daily pivot table, come back to my monthly pivot table. I'm not going to do that. Ah, wrong one. So here's my operations out here. That's why it didn't work. If I change, no, that should have worked. That's okay. We're still going to do it. The proper way to do it is just replace it. I could start over completely and delete the formulas that are there now. Monthly operations, and I'm going to click here. Too few arguments. Oh, there's an extra parentheses in there. And the date, I need to replace the date with the date column here. This won't work. I'm not checking my notes. I'm really sorry. That can confuse. Sorry about that. So remember the first was a synthetic field, so I added the monthly field. The second was date automation. I haven't done that. I don't have the month. So let's create the month. Remember, I call this TTM, trailing 12 months. So my month, it's just the date argument. And the year argument. And I used this, date used. Date used. Here we need to tweak it because if you see here in column F, there's the count. I want the latest date to be first, and then the date a month ago, and then the date 2 months ago, and then 3 months ago. So that's the rows argument. And I'm in column J, J3, and I better make that I have to anchor that. And then I have to add 1. So I'm subtracting it. That's not going to make sense to you. Yep. And then comma, and then days. Days is always 1, right? And now when I drag that, and let's reformat that so it's a little bit better. I need to, let's see, make it bigger again. There's the 140%. Now you can see better what I'm doing. Sorry about that. And I wanted to reformat that a little bit. For my dashboard, a monthly dashboard, I'd use this one. Mac. Okay. I can do, well, there's the label. I guess I could do this as well. Okay. With me so far? All I've done is created the last 12 months. So that's the current month. Presently in my data, I just go to January of 21, and then it steps back a month at a time, December, November, October, etc. And then inside my monthly dashboard, here's my dates. I need to change that. Presently, I'm looking at J3. I added the monthly automation to column J. I can type J and that'll work. Let me just go there. Config and J. And if I fill that down, I should go back until December. Sure. Sorry. 8. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is only 10. Remember, this started out as a 10-day dashboard. So I can move these down. This is kind of tedious. That should be enough. So I'm going to fill 2 more. And is it that one? Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I go from January back to February of 20. I'm not formatted properly. Let's do that. There we go. So there you can see the trailing 12 months. And actually, this is right now. So I can just fill down. Again, fill without formatting. What did I change there? That was, it's not quite right. It's actually here. Will that work? I'm getting confused about what my dashboard did. It was quite some time ago I set it up. That was my daily dashboard. Yeah, so that's the total. So this is going to be, I'm going to click back here at monthly, and this is the total. So I'm going to click here. There's the total, and there's my date. And I can fill that down without formatting. There's my totals. That's the total number of changes. New is going to be same thing. I need the if error in this case because I don't have data older than November. So October, I would get errors. I'll show you that with the update column. Let me do monthly new. Here's new. And monthly new. There's my date. I'm going to change new to be here. And then it's, I want to anchor the row, which is 4. So now I can fill that down. Oh, I want to anchor the date as well, but that's going to be the column. So $D anchors the column. You'll see what I'm doing in just a second. And now let me show you with the update I'm going to do it without the if error statement. Actually, I didn't need that at all. I'm just going to do an equal sign and then do my get pivot data on the monthly. And this is update. So it's there. And then that's update. Here's my date. I want to fix my date. And now when I fill down, I get errors. This is the error that get pivot data returns when there is no match to the data. So when I'm looking in my pivot table for October, there's no October data. So that's why monthly, and it's and then monthly, and now 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Here's the get pivot data monthly operations, and there's no data for October. So that's why in my monthly dashboard, I get these errors, but I can fix that because of, I can just do this. There you go. And this was just dividing one column by another. That's accurate whether it's daily or monthly. Now, we haven't done this one yet, but it's the same exact technique. I need to copy or create, I'll just create a monthly status pivot. And it's not essential that you put these pivot tables on a new worksheet, but I think that's a good practice. You have one pivot table on each worksheet. I think it's easier to navigate a bunch of worksheets than to try and figure out multiple pivot tables on one worksheet. You have a danger of overlap. Sometimes they scroll way off the screen. And so I'm going to insert the pivot table. And again, it's ALM data. And I have to check here. It's response, count of day, and day. Okay. Count of day. That should have been response, I think. But let's try. Here's month, response. I'm going to try this, see if this works. Count of response. Count, I think that's what I prefer. Ah, damn it. Okay, there we go. And I need to ungroup again. So there's my months. And then back here in my monthly, I want to click inside my monthly status. Sorry, what's the monthly dashboard? Changes, right. So that's the total. No. Sorry, success. That's what I want. So success right there. And let's fix that. Here's my date. I replace that with column D. And then like we did before, I'm going to get this from the row, but I have to anchor it. Anchor the row. Here's anchor the column. Extra quote mark that I forgot. So there you go. That works, but this won't for the same reason. There's graph, yeah. So let's fix that with the if error. I want it to be blank if there's an error. And I can do this same way because I anchored things. There we go. So now, oh, and I do have to fix my charts. I already fixed the title, right? It's a monthly dashboard. It's the monthly changes. It's the monthly status. But look at this mess down here in the horizontal axis. That's because if I click there and go to the format pane, you can see the major axis is days. Well, I want it to be months. And that should, there, voila, fixed it straight away. Where's my data? Oh, something wrong with this. I'm going to do the same thing to this one. We'll come back and fix this. Same way, it's days. Now I want it to be months. Okay, that's much better. It's a line chart. I don't know why this column chart's causing me problems. So now we've got a monthly dashboard. The data's there. You can see there it is right there. I don't know why it's so skinny. I don't want to waste time on this. No difference. I don't spend that much time with charts, so I'm not so good with this. Leave that alone. Boy, but it sure annoys me. Okay, so anyway, we've got here's our new monthly dashboard, and here's our daily dashboard. So remember, we're all about automation. I have some more data I'm going to paste in here. So right now we go to the end of January. So we have end of January, the last 10 days in January on our daily. And we also go to January in our monthly. So here's some more data. And I'm just going to copy this data. It goes down to, looks like, it should go farther than that. Yeah, that's what I thought. There's just some missing data. There's a bunch of blanks in there, so it's hard to navigate it all at one go. There we go. Okay, so now I've got data. I've got an additional 15,700 rows of data, and I'm just going to go to the bottom here and paste that in here. And I also have to, normally I don't like this, but it's okay for this much data. It's okay. I think I can just double click this. Maybe not. Well, the trick then is just jump to the bottom, go back up. All I'm doing is filling down those formulas, which you can see there. And now I need to come back and just click inside a pivot table and refresh all. Refresh all. And now my daily dashboard goes until 10 March. So this is data just a few days ago, 10 March. And my monthly also goes until March. So now I've got what we set out to do is I've got two reports. I've got a daily dashboard here. And I have a monthly dashboard. There you go. I've got two dashboards from one data set, and they work the same way as all my other dashboards. Two-step process, remember? Bring in the latest data, bring in the latest data. Two, refresh your pivot tables, and everything updates. And you could continue. You could create a quarterly dashboard. Now I've only got 3 months worth of, 4 months worth of data. I could do that. I could do a weekly dashboard. I don't want to do that. Weeks are different because of the, months are really easy because of the date function. Weeks are more difficult because there's not I didn't plan ahead to do a weekly function. You could do this with the weekly function. So you've seen my my BTS project tracker. We've talked about that before. And if you wanted to spend some more time with that, we're all doing work inside the base stations in the RAN all the time anyway. That'd be a pretty useful thing to cover, I suppose. But let me show you that. Excel writings, the BTS project tracker. I think it's this one. Yeah, March 7. Here I've done that. So this dashboard does track a week at a time. Inside the, is it config? Lookups, I think I called it. Yeah, here. Yeah, the weeks are a little bit more messy. There's the week. You can see, because what you want with a week num, if I take you back to the dashboard page, you want it to display, right? But you need a date to go with it. That's the point I want to make. Is it's easy to get a week number, but it's a little trickier to convert a week number into a specific day. You have to pick what day of the week, like is it a Monday or a Friday? That's an argument to week num. But then you have to map that back here. See, there's a messy formula. Oh, wrong one. I'm clicking the wrong button. Sorry about that. That's confusing. You have to map your week num back to a date. And it's tricky. That's all I want to say. I don't want to go into that. Sorry. So there's the formula I used, so that when I had for each week, I also had a date to go with that, because when your audience, I guarantee your audience will, what day is that? Your audience will ask. So I just don't think it's a good idea to only show the week num, unless that's normal in your country. So in Europe, they do a lot of project tracking by week num and probably don't need a date for that, but that's not common here in the US. Week num is not quite so common, certainly not in the companies I've worked with. But it is possible to do, and I could have done this same thing, create a daily dashboard and a monthly dashboard to go with this weekly dashboard that I already have. Same thing. But the point is, with automation, the fundamental principle here is we separate the content, which I mean the raw data, we separate that from the presentation, which is this report. So we have a monthly report, we have a daily report, because we didn't mess with the data at all. All we did was added a synthetic field. And in this case, only one synthetic field was required to create each different dashboard. A daily synthetic field, a day synthetic field and a month synthetic field. And we use that to key our values in the pivot tables. Here's the daily pivot table, and there's the day value. And here's the monthly pivot table, and there's the month value. And with that small change, we're able to get monthly and daily dashboards. It's pretty slick, and it's just as automated as all the other dashboards we've created. How about that? How about the questions? Any questions, guys? Let me check the chat here and turn off the screen sharing because it's annoying. Who else is with us? Raulito, if you're still there, but who else is out there? Say hi if you wouldn't mind. And what else can I do for you guys? If you, as I've said before, if you want some help with something you're working on, a dashboard you're working on, and you don't mind sharing your data, just like I did with this stuff, this data today, I took out all the proprietary data, so there's no information there that has any meaning outside of the company that data was generated by. Could do the same thing with you if you'd like some help. Send me an email, send me some data, and let's talk about what you want to do, and I'll be happy to work with you on that. That's for creating a dashboard or report, or we've done a bunch of episodes of standard operating procedure on modeling. If you'd like to model something, or if you're trying to model something and would like some help, happy to help you. Mario, you've been here before. I've seen you. Hi, Mario. Thanks for joining us. I forget where you are, Mario. Are you in? That's Ernesto. I don't remember what country you're in, Mario. Can you tell us? If there's something else you'd like to cover in one of these standard operating procedure episodes, please let me know. Send me an email or DM me on LinkedIn or wherever we're connected. And happy to do something you're interested in, want to provide value, want to help you out. So just let me know what would work for you. And I'll see if I could spin up an episode like that. I posted a short video today on LinkedIn. I think I also posted it into the Facebook group. I've got a friend who says he's a telecom exec. He's the chief operating officer of a fiber to the home business here in the US. And he likes to say that what he knows, they don't teach in school. And he's a colorful guy. But it's a fair point that when you move up in the organization, you move up, you get more responsibility. It's because of what you know and the results you're able to deliver. But I struggle with how to teach that. So what mostly I've taught here in SOP has been techniques with Excel. And I do that because, one, it's very well defined. It's inside a box, right? And two, because many engineers, most telecom engineers, they don't like Excel. They don't appreciate Excel. And so they haven't troubled to become proficient with Excel. But I think it will help. I teach it because I think it will help your career a lot if Excel is a useful tool for you so that you can create these dashboards and reports and models and any of the other many things that we do using Excel in telecoms. If you can do that well, I think it's going to help your career a lot. So that's why I teach this. But I'd also like to teach something a little more sophisticated, something a little higher up in the food chain or the value chain. But it's a little hard because, as they say, as my friend says, what I know they don't teach in school. I'm struggling with that, trying to think about, well, what exactly is it that I know that can't be taught or isn't taught? And I think to some extent, I would characterize that as providing quality service that is reliable and cost effective. And I've seen this on LinkedIn, for example, where it's a professional network. A lot of the LinkedIn updates focus on either your own behavior as as an employee inside a group, inside an organization, or like what I teach in Excel, 4G or 5G or, VoLTE optimization or Open RAN, it's very specific, narrow topics. People don't often post. Like I said, I'm struggling with this, so I'm trying to think how to phrase this. Oh, sorry. Hi, Mario in Mexico. I'd forgotten you were in Mexico. So you're probably, maybe it's noon or 1 o'clock or noon 30 or 1, maybe going on 1 o'clock for you. You're probably a time zone or two to my left, well, to the east, I guess. I still struggle with how to characterize this, and that is you can't go on LinkedIn and say, I have this problem, because you have to define the problem so specifically. Otherwise, it's hard for anybody to help you. And I can say that in a better way, and that is, it's very hard to solve telecom problems abstractly, because there are so many specific variables, specific local considerations, that it's really difficult. And in fact, maybe it's just not even possible to solve a solution abstractly. I've wanted to present an episode of Standard Operating Procedure that's about troubleshooting. But again, that's really difficult to do because there are so many specific considerations that maybe that's what makes it hard to teach. You just have to look at everything and, pick the things that are important and, of all the factors that are involved, eliminate some solutions until you get to something that works. I don't know. I'm still thinking about this. Love to hear your thoughts on this. I posted here, let's do that. I'm going to pull up that update on LinkedIn, and I know you can't see this yet, but I'm going to find the update and I'm going to move that over because I can't see my screen. There we go. Post an activity. I'm going to paste the link to this post. Here we go. Let me just verify that that's the right link. How come it didn't take me there? Okay, yeah. So if you want, here's my video. And I express the same struggle. That is how to teach something a little more sophisticated than just the technology details like Excel or 4G, 5G, Volte optimization, things like that. How to teach more, how to be successful in telecoms without focusing on without just teaching those technical details. If you have some suggestions, please comment on that post. Interested in your ideas. If there's something else you'd like me to be covering here inside of the Standard Operating Procedure episodes, I'd happy to do that. Love to. Want to provide value for you. I appreciate you coming here. I know you're busy. I know it's going on 2 a.m. So appreciate you being here, Raulito. I really appreciate your commitment and dedication. And I hope this helps you. I hope your Excel skills are getting better. Feel free to send me something you're working on. I'm happy to help you with that and try to give you a better report or a better dashboard or a better model, whatever it is you're doing. I think that's it for today. Thanks for being here with me, and we'll see you next time here on the Standard Operating Procedure broadcast. Bye-bye now.